Hey guys, what's up? It's Willy B here doing my very first Bukkit plugin tutorial. So today we're just going to go over how to send commands, or how to receive commands, how to send messages to players that send commands, and how to add colors to your messages. So briefly, what we're going to just go through here is all the steps on making a basic plugin, and then we'll get into all the actual command stuff. So eventually I'll have a proper template to use. I do have a template that I use, but it's not exactly what I use when, like, it's not what I'd use for these tutorials. So what we're going to want to do is in Eclipse, what you're going to need to do first is get Eclipse, have Java. You're going to want to know a little bit of how Java works, or at least be willing to struggle for a while. And you're also going to want a proper test server and Spigot jar or Bukkit jar, or Craft Bucket, and then so that's just the API. So that's just what you need for your plugin to get information from Java to know how to be a plugin. And I suggest you use the exact same jar that you would use for your server, just so there's no conflict with versions. So you're going to want to go on the left side here under Project Explorer. You're going to New Project, and then you're going to want to go down to Java and select Java Project. And then for the name, this can be whatever you want it to be. I'm going to name it Tut1. And finish. When we open it up, we see source and the JRE system library. So this is something you might have to get figured out. I don't know if it is a pain anymore, but it used to be a couple of years ago. But I think it is a proper working thing, so you shouldn't have issues with it. But we're going to want to go right click on Tut1, go to build path, configure build path, and then you're going to want to add external jars, the second button here, and then go to wherever your version of Spigot is. I'm using the 1.12 pre-5, so this is the newest that I've found, fairly recent, pretty new. So this is what I'm going to be using today. I don't know if it's completely stable. It is not stable yet, but I'm going to be working with whatever is the newest. And I suggest that if you're creating plugins for yourself or for your own server, use whatever version your server is going to be running. And if you're making plugins for a collect group of people, if you're posting them on Spigot or whatever, you're going to want to have them on the most recent stable version of Spigot. So I would recommend 1.11 or 1.12 coming up soon. It should be ready and done in the near future. Yeah, so we're just going to be using 1.12 for now. So now that's in there, we can apply and hit OK. We go right click source, new package, and then we're going to name this, and we have to use a proper naming convention, otherwise plugins can conflict. So for naming convention, I always do me.inamine and then the plugin name. So this is just Tut1. So this, obviously you'd switch out Inamine with your own username, but I actually own inamine.me as a URL, like I own that domain name. So if you own a domain name, stick that in there in reverse. So if you owned, I also own feathernet.ca, so I could put in ca.feathernet. So if you do own a domain, put it in backwards like that. Or if you don't, then usually just using me dot and then whatever your username is works as well. And then we hit finish, and then we're going to go in here, new class, and then we're going to name this main because it is our main class. Hit finish. A couple of things we need to do here before we can actually get started on the actual plugin itself. On the nitty gritty, we have to add here extends Java plugin, and then mouse over this and click import Java plugin from org.bukkit.plugin.java, and that'll show up there. Now we can actually add a few things in here. So we're going to have to add public void on enable and then parentheses, and that's going to happen, like whatever's in that will happen when the server starts or when the plugin starts. Public void on disable, and then this will be whatever happens when the plugin disables. It's also good to have at override. Yeah, add at override above each of these, and then so we can add in things here like if you wanted to have it show up in the console, you could do bucket.get logger.log and then level dot usually stick with info, and then we can stick whatever we want here. So if we wanted to do like tutorial 1 plugin has started, and then we could do on disable plugin has shut down. So then that'll just show up in the log. So you can keep track of things, or if you wanted to send a message, or if you needed to start saving to a file or read a file or anything, that's where you would put that. So it's a really convenient thing to have for on enable and on disable. This is where we're going to start doing the command stuff. So we're going to do public boolean on command, and command sender, command cmd string label and string args. So basically this is the one that's sending the command, the one that's typing up the command. This is what the command is itself. This is the command that they typed, the label that they used, and then this is the argument. So if you did /warp shop would be the argument. If you did warp shop inamine, making inamine go to shop, then warp and shop and inamine would be the arguments. And that just means it's an array. It's a list of arguments or list of strings. So it's just a good way to have the strings. So you can sort them. You can have them in the correct order. Before we do anything else here, we're going to mouse over command sender, because you'll notice it's underlined. Import command sender from org.bukkit.command, and then mouse over command, import command org.bukkit.command. It's important you pick the command one and not the material, because material is the command block, whereas command is the actual command, which is what we're looking for. So we'll do that, and then of course we'll have to return false because this is a boolean. So we'll do this: if cmd.get name equals ignore case. Equals ignore case is important because you don't want to have it case sensitive unless you actually intentionally want it to be case sensitive. It's important that you have it equals ignore case, because if a player types in all caps, we're going to be doing hello. So if they type in all caps hello, or if they do capital H, or they have a capital somewhere in between, it'll still pick up the command. Whereas if it was non-ignore case, then it would it would care, so to speak. So since this is doing something, we're going to return true. So then it's done. It doesn't need to do anything else. So if the command is equal to hello, and we'll also be adding aliases once we get to the plugin.yml file. So if they type in /hello, then we're going to send them a message. So sender dot send message. And we're also going to add chat colors. So chat color dot translate. Chat color dot translate alternate color codes, and it'll automatically import some stuff there. And then you're going to want to do a single quote here. It's important. Ampersand and then another single quote, because we're just capturing a character rather than a string. So we just want the one char character, so we just use single quotes for that. But the second part is a string, so we want to actually use double quotes. So we'll do ampersand C for the color. We'll do hello space, and then add sender dot get name, and that'll get the name of the sender. And I don't know exactly how it works with the console. We'll see that in a second. But if you're a player, it'll get the name of the player and say hello, Inamine or whoever it is. And then we've got it to return true. So this is all we're actually doing for code for this plugin. What we're going to need to do next, save that, Control S, and then go new file, and we're going to name this plugin.yml. Then hit finish, and then plugin.yml will open up on your Notepad++ or Notepad, and I'd recommend using Notepad++ just because it does everything properly. It does tabbing wonderfully. It's basically made for YML files or coding files, so it also uses for HTML and things like that. So name, and you can't use spaces in the name, so we're just going to call it tutorial. Then we can add description, so description says hello. Version will be 1.0.0, and author, and you can also do authors and have multiple names in here, and then have one main author. So if you had a team and you were heading the team, but you also had a couple people also working on the code, you could set them as authors, and you'd still be the author. So it's a way of making yourself look a bit more professional. But you also don't need to use both. You also don't need to use any, really. And then we also need the main. So this is going to be the package name and then the class name. So me.inamine.tut1.main. So this will be whatever this package name here is plus whatever this is here. So main. So me.inamine.tut1.main. So if you're having problems, that could be what it is. And then beyond that, we don't have to add anything other than name, version, and main, but we can add commands, and then we'll add hello, add aliases, and you're going to want to do 2 spaces for each level. I have my Notepad++ set up to do 2 spaces when I hit tab. It's important not to use real tabs because that does mess with everything. For aliases, put them in square brackets, separate them by commas. So we'll do h, hey, hi. So we'll have those 3 aliases. We'll save, close that, click on tut1, hit F5 to refresh it, and then we're good to go. So we'll do export, and then you're going to want to go to Java, and then jar file, not runnable, but just a normal jar file. Next, and this is where you're going to pick where it goes. So you're going to want to find a good spot where you want to save all your jar files when they're done. I have a code workspace, and then inside of that I have completed jars, and then you're going to want to name it. Make sure it ends with .jar, and then hit finish, and then it'll be there. So we're going to go to there, and there it is, tutorial1.jar, and then you're going to want to upload that to your server. So if you're using a server hosted, when you use FileZilla to connect, you're just going to drop it in the plugin folder on FileZilla or whatever your FTP client is. And if you're running a server from home or on your own computer, just drag it into the plugin folder. I personally use Bisect hosting, and I find their servers are pretty reliable and also pretty cheap. So that's what I personally would recommend you use. I'm just gonna get rid of that. Thank you. But of course, use whatever you want. So we've uploaded that, so we can go back into our server, and I'm just going to do /reload. If you have any server files that you care about, don't do /reload. I only use it to quickly reload a plugin. So if you don't have to use it, I wouldn't suggest it. Oops. I just realized the bottom is cut off a little bit. Yeah, /reload basically is a dirty way of restarting your server. So if you can avoid doing it, then avoid it. Come on. Alright. So /reload. And it actually says it's not supported. And like it says, it's not supported. Like, if you don't have to use it, don't. Do /pl. No, that's not good. Probably forgotten to do something important somewheres. So what you'll see when you have an error, you'll have in your console, you'll see this kind of stuff here. So, for example, disabling could not load plugins, whatever, name is not defined. So that kind of gives you an idea of how to fix it. So we're going to look at the plugin.yml of the file, name tutorial. Oh, of course. So you need to use lowercase for all of these. I've known that for the last 2 years. I don't know how I messed it up. But so yeah, you're going to want to lowercase all of that. Refresh again, export, next, finish. Oops, not that. And then drag your tutorial 1 to here. Yes, overwrite. And then reload. And then PL, and there it is, tutorial. So what we should see here now is where is it? Okay, so tutorial 1, this is the thing we did. So what it should say here, plugin is started, like we set up here. Tutorial 1 plugin is started, and when we disable the plugin, which I'll show you in a bit, it'll say plugin has shut down. So we're gonna do /hello inamine. We do /hi /h/hey. It shows up. If we do /help, I'm not sure what happens with this. I'm used to other systems and stuff, so I'm not used to exactly what happens with help. I'm curious if, like, page 5, no, page 3. Okay, so it does actually show hello on the listing here, but it doesn't show a description because we didn't set one up in the plugin.yml. So if we set up a description, so description says hello to the player, saved that, and then we went through and exported again. Next, finish. Just doing this quickly just to kind of finish it off here, but and then we reload. and help 3 says hello to the player will now show up in the normal help menu. So this will also work if you have essentials, I do believe. They'll get the description and everything from your plugin.yml. So it's important if you're trying to have a proper documented plugin to fill in things like that. And I'll leave a link to a website from Gamepedia, but it's the Bukkit wiki, so it has all the information on the plugin.yml file itself. So it kind of gives you a guide on how to do that. There'll be like 80 links in the description at this point, but if you want to check out anything, check it out in the description. If you like this video, leave a like. If you dislike this video, leave a dislike. If you have suggestions for future tutorials, or if you want me to review any plugins or give tutorials on how to use plugins, let me know. Also hit subscribe, because I'll be doing these videos hopefully every week. But yeah, definitely let me know what you want to see next time. As always, peace out.